Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the OVOLVE Podcast, the place where energy meets action and where performance is shaped not just on the field, but in the mind, the heart, and the soul. I'm your host, Mason Cromwell, and today's episode is for the coaches out there and for anyone aspiring to be more than just a strategist. We're diving deep into why every coach needs a mental toolkit, because your clipboard just isn't enough anymore. Let's begin with a powerful quote by Billy Graham. A coach will impact more people in 1 year than the average person does in a lifetime. Let that sink in. That's not just inspiring, it's a responsibility. And in today's landscape, where young athletes are not just developing their bodies, but also their identities, their emotions, and their self-worth, the role of a coach has evolved. And it's evolving. The new role of a coach, from strategist to energy leader. The old model of coaching was all X's and O's, wins and losses. The approach has changed quite a bit. Coaches back in the day, much more authoritative, led by fear. That doesn't work anymore. It has a short-term positive impact or positive effect, but doesn't have any long-term substance. John Wooden said, "A coach is someone who can give correction without causing resentment." Today's coach is a mental architect, a mirror of emotional intelligence, and a conduit of energy and coherence. Athletes don't just absorb drills, they absorb your energy, your state, your language, your presence. You're not just teaching hockey or basketball or football, golf, whatever sport. You're imprinting beliefs, shaping neural patterns, and influencing an athlete's nervous system. Let that sink in. The new role of a coach, from strategist to energy leader. Because let's be real, the role of a coach has evolved. And if we're not evolving with it, we're becoming irrelevant. Let's get into it. The old model is breaking down. Once upon a time, being a coach meant knowing the game. You had to draw the perfect play, run the tightest practice, out-strategize the other bench. But here's the truth. X's and O's don't inspire a generation. They don't build resilience. They don't create unity. They don't transform lives. We're coaching kids and athletes in a world of anxiety, overstimulation, identity confusion, and social pressures. They're not just looking for skill development. They're looking for emotional anchors. They're looking for leaders who see them, understand them, and help them believe in something bigger than themselves. As Maya Angelou said, "They may forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel." Today's coach is a mirror, not just a mentor. So let me ask you this. When your athlete looks at you, what do they see? Do they see someone who's stressed? Someone who's unavailable, emotionally unavailable, frustrated after a loss, or someone who's truly present, calm under pressure, aligned with purpose? As coaches, we have such a significant impact on so many people's lives. We don't just teach the game. We teach how to handle failure. We model how to respond to stress. We embody how to stay grounded in chaos. You become the mirror that teaches them how to carry themselves, not only in sports, but in life. And that's leadership. Energy leadership. It's the unspoken superpower. I want to introduce a powerful term, energetic coherence. Coherence is when your mind, emotions, and body are in sync. And it's when performance flows. As Dr. Joe Dispenza calls it, it's heart-brain harmony. When a coach is in that state, they transmit it. the team feels it. And when a team is coherent, they're unstoppable. But the opposite is also true. When a coach is energetically scattered, reactive, or emotionally unavailable, the team fragments. Your state of being is contagious. You don't need to say a word. Your energy leads before your voice ever does. As Jack Welch said, before you are a leader, success is all about growing yourself. When you become a leader, success is all about growing others. Now let that sink in. So how do you lead energy? Well, you ground yourself before you speak. You breathe before you react. You check your intention before you step into the locker room. You become aware of your inner state and take responsibility for it. There are 3 core shifts that I believe, and in my opinion, that I feel that every modern coach must make. If you want to rise as an elite coach in today's world, here are 3 shifts that I choose to make, that I feel are important, that we need to make to help teach our athletes. Number 1, from control to connection. Old coaches controlled every detail. New leaders co-create with their players. They listen more. They ask questions. They guide, but don't dictate. You have to give the players a certain amount of autonomy. Trial and error helps them learn and fail. Have those discussions. I give my players the opportunity, my leadership group the opportunity to bring suggestions forward, and we talk through it. And, we talk about the pros and cons, and we'll run a trial, and we run it. See if it works. And if it doesn't, then we learn by doing. And just, set the direction, but kind of guide them. Number 2, from instructing to inspiring. A great coach isn't just giving drills. It's giving direction for life. It's inspiring belief, especially when athletes doubt themselves. Number 3, from strategy only to energy first. Before you run the practice, long before you walk into the game, ask yourself, what energy am I walking in with? What tone do I want to set? What feeling do I want to leave in that room? That's energy leadership. Emotional awareness. That's a whole new level of strategy on trying to develop a culture, a coherence within your team. Now this is what I call coaching with presence. And it's a daily practice. So how do we embody this shift practically? Here are 4 tools. There are many tools to integrate starting today that I like to integrate into my daily practice rituals. Some habits. Number 1, check-in rituals. Start every session with a breath or a word of intention. Help the team shift into the moment. Like today, we focus on effort over outcome. Simple but powerful. Number 2, emotional agility. Name your emotions. Teach your players to do the same. I'm feeling tense today, and that's okay. I'm going to breathe into it. You model the process of emotional intelligence. Help them become aware of their emotions, how they're feeling, being able to describe what the emotion is. Number 3, energy calibration. After every session, ask yourself, did I uplift, drain, or align the energy of the group? And number 4, heart-centered communication. Speak truth, speak it with compassion, and correct without criticism. Constructive criticism. As John Wooden said, a coach is someone who can give correction without causing resentment. such a powerful quote. So, what is a mental toolkit for coaches? A mental toolkit isn't a set of affirmations or motivational phrases. I mean, although those are very powerful and they do help us realign and help us become grounded and help us focus, and they are profoundly powerful. It's more of a system of internal mastery, which is different for everyone. It's what works for you. There's no prescribed method in its exact entirety works the same for everyone. And that's why you have to become aware and mindful and identify with what works for you. And here's some of the things that it includes for me. Self-awareness. Are you reacting or responding? Are you operating from ego or intention? Number 2, emotional regulation. What do you do to regulate your emotions? Are you using breathing techniques? Do you have recovery strategies? Do you have co-regulation with your team under pressure? What are you doing? Find those ways to regulate the emotions, not only within yourself, but within your team, within your players. Communication with intelligence. Listening deeper than words. Reading the body language. Knowing when to speak and when to let silence teach. Saying nothing says something. Next is vision and presence. The ability to hold a higher vision for an athlete when they can't see it for themselves. And transmit belief energetically. Last, energetic leadership. Your frequency sets the tone. And as Joe Dispenza says, where you place your attention is where you place your energy. If your attention is on fear, frustration, or judgment, that's the energy your team feels. And that's the energy that gets emitted. So, awareness. It's truly this, it's about awareness, developing your own awareness. And when you develop that awareness and you become more mindful, it shapes your influence. Shapes your influence you have on yourself, your influence you have on your players, the influence you have on the team's culture. When a coach becomes more aware, 3 things happen. You stop reacting to players' mistakes and start responding with purpose. You start seeing beneath the surface into what's driving a player's behavior or burnout. You move from forcing performance to facilitating transformation. As Aristotle said, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. The more aware you are, the more attuned you are to others. And that's when influence becomes transformational, not transactional. Think of the great coach, Phil Jackson. He wasn't just a basketball coach. He was a Zen master, guiding the mental and spiritual development of legends. Or Pete Carroll, a high-energy presence whose players say they feel better about themselves just being around him. That's not by accident. That's energy leadership. So how awareness shapes your relationship with your team and athletes is truly important. Coaching isn't a one-way street. It's a relationship, a dynamic exchange of energy, trust, and belief. And the quality of that relationship is rooted in one thing: awareness. Awareness of your own patterns and awareness of theirs. When you become aware of how your tone affects a player's confidence, when you notice how body language shifts after a tough drill, when you can feel when an athlete needs space instead of instruction, that's when real connection happens. The most important thing in communication is hearing what isn't said. Peter Drucker. Let's break it down. Emotional awareness helps you attune to when a player is frustrated, even if they're not showing it. Energetic awareness helps you feel when the team is off and helps you understand why. Relational awareness helps you adapt your leadership style to each athlete, because not every player responds the same way. This kind of attunement builds psychological safety, mental safety, mental trust. Helps them believe in themselves. And when athletes feel safe, they take more risks. They express themselves more freely, and they trust your feedback on a deeper level. It's not just about being liked. It's about being in tune. Awareness turns you into the kind of coach who doesn't just bark commands, but builds bridges. Who doesn't just lead the group, but guides the individual within it. Because when your athletes feel seen, not just for their performance, but for who they are, they'll go to war for you. They'll go to war for the entire team. And that's what true influence looks like. Awareness. How awareness shapes your team's culture and the team's identity. If awareness shapes your influence and it shapes your relationships, then ultimately it shapes your team's culture. It's a snowball effect. It's compounding. And from that culture, your team's identity is born. As Peter Drucker said, culture eats strategy for breakfast. And you can see that with the Florida Panthers, who have 2 consecutive Stanley Cups. Because that culture there there's nothing left to say about it. They've got 2 Stanley Cups in an NHL that now has so much parity and competition. And that culture that's being created there by Paul Maurice it's not just about Paul Maurice. It's the entire culture and the culture that entire team has embraced. Players have moved out from the first Stanley Cup win, and players have come in. And within that culture and that dynamic, even with their different personalities, the culture embraces that. So it just absorbs the additional personalities that blend with that culture, and they've done such a fantastic job. And it's eating up the rest of the NHL in the playoffs and eating them up for breakfast, in my opinion. You can have the best game plan in the world, but if the team culture is misaligned, if the energy in the room is off, that strategy won't land. And worse, your players won't fully believe in it. Team culture is not what you write on a banner. It's the energy in the locker room when no one's watching. It's how players treat each other after a loss. It's how they speak about their teammates, their coaches, and themselves. And as the coach, you set the tone. Your awareness becomes the mirror the team uses to see themselves. When you operate from presence, the team grounds. When you coach with emotional clarity, the team models that same resilience. When you bring intention to every interaction, that intention multiplies. And slowly, that awareness builds identity. A team that plays with heart, not just talent. A team that knows who they are, even in adversity. A team that moves as one because they trust the culture they've created together. As Babe Ruth said, the way a team plays as a whole determines its success. You may have the greatest individual stars, but if they don't play together, the club won't be worth a dime. So ask yourself, what culture are you cultivating with your energy, your intention? What unspoken identity are your athletes absorbing from you in how you show up? Because that's where greatness begins. Not with talent, not with tactics, but with awareness. So how do you build a toolkit for yourself? Our toolkits need to be built. They need to continually evolve. And it's something that, again, has to be specific to you as a coach, to you as a person. You have to find a toolkit that works for you. And here's how to start building your own mental toolkit. Daily breathwork or mindfulness. Just take 5 minutes a day. It sets the tone before you step into the rink or the locker room. Do some breath work. Do some mindfulness work. Clear your mind. Close your eyes. Focus. Even listening to some music. Whatever you need to do. Reflective journaling. Take a step back. Reflect on what happened in the game. What happened in the practice. What triggered you today? What moments called for more patience? What moments called for more presence? How did you adjust your energy? Next, learn the language of energy. What is heart coherence? Binaural frequencies. Visualizations. These aren't just for athletes. They're for coaches too. Next, ask better questions. Instead of saying or asking, why did you mess that up? Try, what did you see in that moment? What were you feeling in that moment? And what did you learn? Have them reflect. Reflect on the moment. If they're emotionally defensive, then they're truly not going to be able to reflect on the moment and to be able to work through it on a positive. Putting a player into a space of fear only deflates their confidence and truly does not help them understand how to make a different choice. What was happening in that moment so that they can find a way to correct it. What they were seeing, how they were feeling. So we just need to find different ways, better ways to ask better questions. And we're all guilty of it. I mean, that's, as coaches, we're learning, we're growing, we're evolving as well. And just becoming more attuned to that in the moment of stepping outside of our emotion. We want all of our players to succeed. We want our team to succeed. We want our players to become the best that they can become. They're going to make mistakes. And the way they grow is how we help them grow. And by asking better questions is just one important element. So in closing, coaches, you are energetic thermostats, not emotional thermometers. You don't just teach sport, you transmit belief. You shape identities, you guide energy. And that's why a mental toolkit isn't optional. It's truly essential. As John Wooden said, a good coach can change a game. A great coach can change a life. So keep evolving, keep ovolving. Become the coach who doesn't just build players, but awakens people. I'd like to thank everyone for being here. I'm Mason Cromwell, and this is the OVOLVE Podcast. Let's keep growing. Let's keep evolving. Let's keep evolving. And let's keep showing up as the leaders the next generation deserves.